Well, just weeks after censoring a controversial episode about the Prophet Muhammad, Comedy Central has decided it is full steam ahead with a show that pokes fun at Jesus Christ. And it is not the first time that Jesus has been on a Comedy Central cartoon. He's the recurring character you see here on South Park. So it appears for now that Muhammad is off limits, but Christ is fair game at Comedy Central. Joining me now for a fair and balanced debate, Dan Gaynor, Vice President of Business and Culture for the Media Research Center, and Corey Saylor, Legislative Director for the Council on American-Islamic Relations. Gentlemen, Dan, let me start with you. This is rather troubling to a number of people, including a lot of Christians.
Well, it should be. This is just an astonishing amount of how out of touch Hollywood and Comedy Central are with 80% of the American public who follow Christianity. They don't care about offending Christians. They do it all the time. They do it, if you look, you see they'll go after Jesus. You've got comedian Mike DiStefano talking about pedophile priests, or making jokes about fundamentalist Christians when they say they'll pray for you. What they really mean is, well, blank you. The Media Research Center is going to have a major announcement about this next week.
It's this video, this new show. This is a video from an existing show, South Park. But the new show that they are developing right now is called JC. And in it, they say it's a half-hour show about Christ wanting to escape the shadow of his powerful but apathetic father. And they talk about how God in this show is, quote, preoccupied with playing video games, while Christ, quote, the ultimate fish out of water, tries to adjust to life in New York City. Corey, do you think that there's a double standard in the way that Muslims are treated by shows like this and Christians are treated?
There shouldn't be a double standard. There was originally an episode on Muhammad that was shown on South Park July 4th, 2001. There was little or no controversy over it, and the image of Muhammad has been shown again and again. But we believe that common decency requires that people not mock religious figures, be that Jesus Christ, who Muslims revere, and also Muhammad. There shouldn't be laws prohibiting people from doing so, but just basic decency in society says you should not mock other people's religious figures.
Unfortunately, there is an extreme wing of Islam, which you know, Corey, and they don't speak for the vast majority of Muslims, but there's an extreme wing, and they believe that if you show the Prophet Muhammad really at all, that it could be blasphemy. And what happened on South Park is they did that. They showed him in a bear suit, and then they got death threats. And they were going to show him again, and they got more death threats, and they decided not to do it. Comedy Central pulled that. Well, but Comedy Central is going forward with this comedy of Jesus Christ. And some say that they're doing that because they know they're not going to get death threats if they mock Jesus Christ. I mean, your thoughts on it?
Well, the group that threatened Comedy Central, Revolution Muslim, is 5 or 10 really shady characters who actually spend a lot of time standing outside of mosques yelling at Muslims too. So I don't think we should elevate them to even a fringe. They're a fringe of a fringe. But again, I would just reiterate, we believe it's inappropriate to mock other people's religious figures. Our organization has criticized in the past an episode where a crucifix was placed in urine, where the Virgin Mary was done artistically in dung, the last temptation of Christ. Because again, remember, Muslims revere Jesus just like they revere other prophets, Abraham, Muhammad.
Dan, do you think that South Park and Comedy Central, I should say Comedy Central, feels it can get away with this because they know no death threats are going to be forthcoming from Christians. They might write angry letters, they might turn the channel, but no one's going to be threatening the creators of this show with murder if they go forward and make fun of Jesus Christ.
Well, I mean, that's entirely the point. Hollywood is running scared of radical Islam. They saw what happened when you run cartoons that are deemed to be mocking the Prophet. You have global riots and death. When we keep dancing around this problem in America. You look and see repeated incidents of terrorism in this country come from radical Islam. So what Hollywood's doing is self-censoring. They're cutting out Islam plot lines out of shows. They're hiding any controversy at all about Islam. So it's safe to mock 80% of the population because no matter what the media have been telling us for literally years, Christians really aren't dangerous and they're not going to go out and hurt people.
All right, I'm going to have to
Megan, I got to really quickly step in. Keep in mind that the people bombing abortion clinics are not Muslims. So you have to remember, in any religious community, you're going to have bad apples. So to say that only Muslims are the ones doing the threats, that's
out of line.
really
Nobody's praising violence of any kind. But what we're talking about here is the targeting of specific religious figures. And what we're seeing more and more.
What you've said is that only threats are
what
only
we're seeing
coming
more
from
and more
Islam,
is a double standard on that.
That's
That's the problem. That's what the segment's about. I have to leave it at that. Dan and Corey, all the best to you both. Thanks for being here.